Hey there, this is Dr. Pam Perry. So today we're going to be talking with Valonda Calloway. She's the author of the book Tips from the TV Lady. And really, this show is going to be really good because you're going to really learn about how she does what she does, right? She has been in the media for a couple of decades, but we'll talk about how to step up your communication skills and boost your effectiveness, how to really boost your confidence, because a lot of people aren't really feeling real good online. Like, how do I look? How do I sound? We'll talk about some of the powerful techniques for vocal delivery and body language. She happens to be a dancer, so she knows a little bit about that. And then also just getting some tips on how to set up your remote office for maximum effect. So we're going to have Valonda Calloway come right after this.
Welcome to the Get Out There and Get Known podcast. Join Pam Perry, veteran PR strategist, Emmy award-winning producer and publisher of Speakers Magazine, who will show you how to crack the code in getting out there to get known. Each week, she either interviews her media friends, PR colleagues, or she just goes solo, offering you strategies on publicity, publishing, and platform building. So listen up to hear how to get booked on media places and on superstar stages. Now, here's your host, Pam Perry.
All right, so I got Valonda here.
Hello.
She is, if you follow Valonda Calloway on any of her social media, you're going to catch her dancing for real. Okay, because she's a dance instructor and pretty much a professional at it, right? So she had this thing down. So like I like to dance, but she like really, really dances. So I saw that one TikTok. I think it was Sierra, 1 2 step, 1 2 step.
Mhm.
Was that one of your students?
That was one of my students, Megan, who's been with me for so many years, and we were having so much fun.
She was jamming. I was like,
Mhm.
oh my God. I was like, I wish I lived. What city is it? North Carolina? Raleigh. I was like, if I was in Raleigh, I would be in your dance class for sure, for sure. So yeah. I really, really thank you for coming back because we had you on before and we were
Mhm.
talking about we're actually talking about your book.
Yes.
And so the book is really instructional about how to look good online, how to sound online, how to get your background together, do's and don'ts, and it's all written in a book. But now people can get the course. And so that's kind of like the main thing. I just want to have you back. So the other episode that you were on was episode number way back when,
Mhm.
23. And
Okay.
it was how to look better on Zoom, tips from the TV lady, Valonda Calloway. And so that one is still there. You can go back and read it and watch it and get all the goodies and stuff there. You can actually go to valondacalloway.com and know all about her programs. But the main thing today is we're talking about the course. And the course is at tvlady.online. And they can kind of get a little tidbit of it if they go to there and that kind of thing, get like a free thing. So why did you do the course? What was the emphasis, I guess you would say, the beginning of like why I need to do a course? Obviously you do video, so that's probably was pretty much a natural. So why did you do the course, and what's new about the course that you find that people are loving?
I had more to say, Pam. I wrote the book and I had more to say, and I wanted to be able to share that with people in a way that they could see it for themselves and then put it to action. So the
Mm,
course is jam-packed with all the things that I teach in person as a presentation trainer. And it's
mhm.
in a course, which means that people who buy the course can do it at their own pace. You
Yeah.
don't have to do the entire thing at once. You could do a chunk here, a chunk there. Take it as you please. I use
Mhm.
myself as an example. I use other people as an example, but I give you the do's and don'ts about presenting effectively. A lot of times people think I'm going to type out my speech, I'm going to put all my energy and effort into making sure I have the words right. But what they fail to understand is it has to be about the entire package, not only the words you speak, but how you speak them. How do you
Mhm.
sound? What is your vocal delivery like? What
Mhm.
is your aesthetic? You have to think about the entire package. Dr. Albert Merabian did a study and found that words comes in third place. It's only 7% of what people are paying attention to when they are taking in your message. The first thing they're paying attention to, your body language. So they're
Ah.
watching what your face, your hand motions, what you're doing with your body. Are you
Mhm.
fidgety and nervous, or do you look relaxed
I
and calm and in control? In second place is your vocal tone and delivery. Are
uh,
you well, so are you doing all that vocal graffiti? Or are you smooth and polished when you deliver? Do you pause for effect or not? Do you get excited and take your voice up sometimes and then bring it down when you're talking about something more serious? People
mm.
are paying attention to all of those things, and they have to work together in order for you to be as effective as possible.
Now I could see why you had to do a course. Oh, you can visually see it and hear it.
Yes.
The examples, I mean, you wrote it out, but to really hear you and see you talk about body language or
Hmm.
eye movement, like if we're on Zoom and I'm looking directly now into the camera, correct?
Yes.
If I'm looking at you while on my
Yes.
computer, I'm looking down. And
Absolutely. I'm looking
that
down
makes
with
it,
you.
yeah, and it makes a difference. It's like,
It
well, what are they
does.
looking? So you have
Mhm.
to remember those things, but you can only do it if you see it, I think, for
Yes.
you.
Because
You
I
have
don't think
to
most people know that, Pam. As I
Mhm.
do presentation training with people in person, the eyes always get wide. Oh, when I tell them that looking into the camera lens is the equivalent of eye contact with someone in
Yes,
person.
yes,
If you were in
yes.
person with someone, you wouldn't look at their chin,
Be looking
but that's
down
what it looks.
what
Yeah,
you looking at? Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's how it appears when you look at the boxes in the gallery if you're on a video conferencing platform.
Mhm. And you wrote the book really at the height of, COVID, I guess you would say.
Yes, yes,
Mhm.
I
And
did because
everybody was
we
in a
were
book.
we were all home, and so the news media, magazine shows, pretty much all media was using Zoom and Teams and Skype and whatever. They were all interviewing people using those platforms. And a lot of
Mm.
people were on social media. People who had never done YouTube before, they were doing YouTube and they're doing Facebook Lives. And so I'm sitting at home consuming all this media, and I'm screaming at my TV screen, screaming at the computer screen saying, why do you look like that? Why are you
Mhm.
so dark? Why don't you have a light? Why are you wearing gray? I'm just screaming at the TV. And my husband says to me, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah,
These
yeah.
people don't know. You need to inform them. And so that is what led me to write the book.
I love it because we talked about it before in the other
Hmm.
episode about backgrounds, and I think I had an example. I had some big feather earrings on that were
You
so
did.
distracting. And I was like, well, this is just like an example. Like people can't really
Hmm.
listen to you because they're looking at like, what are those feathers? How far do those feathers go? Those kind of things really matter. And the lighting. And
Yeah,
do you talk about the equipment in the course as well? Like a lot of people say, well, what kind of
absolutely.
mic should I have? And what kind of lights should I have? And you know, so yeah.
Absolutely, Pam. I list every single piece of equipment I own and links to where to buy
Good,
it.
good. That is important. Yeah. So when you have the book, you could go to the link, but you can actually click it when you're going
Yes.
through the course. And how many hours is the course or how many modules is the course?
12. And I would not suggest you go through it all at once. I would suggest you do a little bit because it's not only videos, it's also work for participants. I have
Ah,
quizzes at the end of each module to make sure you understood. There
mhm.
are worksheets to help you. For example, the module on clothing and how to dress. I even take you step by step through how to do a closet refresh because a lot of
Ooh,
us are wearing old things that we need to get rid of. And so I have
mhm.
an expert who gives expert guidance on how to make these piles, what you're going to keep, what you're going to get altered, what you're going to donate to Goodwill. So there is some work for you to do. But again, you can do this at your own pace. And participants get out of it what they put into it. All the
Yeah,
information is there. And so
yeah,
I encourage people who buy the course to take it over some time because I don't want anyone to get overwhelmed and think, oh, this is too much. But if you spread it out, it'll
mhm.
be fantastic. But it is really up to you to decide because at the end of the course, you give a presentation and I give you constructive feedback on that presentation.
I love that. I love that.
Mhm.
So give people a little bit of background because they could go and listen to the other podcasts. So I didn't really properly like give the background, but you obviously TV lady because you were a TV, but give a little bit of background of your career that you've had, you know.
Thank you. I'd be happy to. I've worked in media for more than 20 years. You stop counting after 20, right, Pam?
Right. Yeah. We talked about that before. It's like just a couple of decades, okay? Don't
Yes.
keep going.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
We're going to stop at 20. And so I started out as a writer and reporter, then transitioned in radio. And then I transitioned to TV as a television news anchor and news reporter. Transitioned from that into a TV show host. I hosted lifestyle TV programming, then transitioned from that into coaching. I do
Right.
presentation coaching as well as media coaching. So my clients are people who appear on TV, police chiefs, city managers, Parks and Recs directors, people who give interviews, as
Mhm.
well as CEOs, physicians, all kinds of people from all different walks of life. That's who I'm
Mhm.
working with in terms of this training. But I'm also still on the air. I represent 2 car dealerships as a spokesperson, and I'm an actor and a freelance TV host.
That's why I like that. That's why I like that video. You know that, right? It's
Yes,
like,
I do a little bit of this, a little bit of that,
but
but
it's
they
all
all work together.
connected. They all
Yes.
connected. And because the main thing is communication. So
Yes.
explain really quick the difference between a presentation coach and a media coach. So that people will know the difference between it's like, well, I don't need a media coach or I don't need a presentation coach. So just explain the differences between those two.
When I'm conducting media coaching, I'm talking to people who do high stakes communications. For example, last week I did media training with Wake County government. In my class, I had a police chief, I had a city manager, I had a finance and budget director, all kinds of municipal leaders. And I'm
Mhm.
talking to them about how to present themselves to the news media. It's important to think about how you say things because you hear people who say, oh, they twisted my words, they took me out of context, they make these complaints about the media. What I like to help people to understand is if you don't give them anything to twist, they can't do it.
There you
And
go.
so I teach people how to speak in sound bites,
Yeah. There
how
you
to
go.
be concise with your message. If you're here to talk about A, B, and C, then you talk about A, B, and C, not D, E, and F.
Mhm.
And so I
Mhm.
coach people on how to stay on message.
That's it. That's it. Those are sound bites. Exactly. I want people to
Yes.
understand media, presentation, and meet the difference between presentation coaching and media coaching is that in sound bites, right? Because you want to be
Well,
succinct.
yes, a lot of it is transferable, but with the media, we are really focusing on how to make those concise messages and also to think about how you're going to be perceived. It's
Yeah.
not about the conversation with the reporter, it's about how the people at home or in the lobby of some building where the TV is on, how they're going to receive the message.
Mhm.
Presentation coaching is a lot of the same things, but we're not so much focused on sound bites and how the media, the television news media, is going to perceive it. In presentation coaching, we're talking about people who go on stage and make speeches, people who
Yes.
are in business like sales, when you're trying
Mhm.
to convince someone to buy something from you. How you deliver that message could be the difference in whether that client says yes or no. And so a
Ah,
lot of it is the same. The approach is different.
and the
Does that make
objective is
sense, Dan?
yeah, and the objective is different. Someone
Yes.
who does presentations for sales, the objective is really to get the prospect to buy. So a lot
Yes.
of that will have to do with body language because you
Yes.
want to make sure that you're coming across trustworthy, caring,
Hmm.
concerned, that you have their answers. Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah, I get it. I love that. I love that. So tell me a little bit. So out of the book that came out in 2020, I guess.
It
Yeah.
came out
Mhm.
October 2020.
Yeah,
I
came
can't
out.
believe it's been
I
that
know. I was
long.
like, "That's not oh my god. Hey, yeah, someone said here, "Thank you so much." I can't pronounce the name, so I won't even try, but great
Thank
insights. Thank
you.
you. Thank you. Yeah, that is so true because it is so important. a lot of times women need to, and we talked about this before, lower the octave on their voices.
Hmm.
And so you being
Yes,
TV reporter, journalism is your background, and then being on radio first before you even your voice quality matters. So someone who has
absolutely.
a really high pitched voice, explain the perception of why high is not good, and then how to properly lower the octave so that you can come across as more serious, I guess you would say.
Yes, Pam, unfortunately, in our society, we associate a weak voice with a weak person. And
Mhm.
we know that that isn't necessarily true. But someone who speaks like this in a whisper where their voice is really soft, we don't perceive them in the same way that we perceive someone who speaks up. And so
Yes.
that is part of the training that I give in presentation training and in media training. Also,
Mhm.
someone who goes up at the end of all their sentences and everything sounds like a question when it's a statement. No. Have you heard people who speak that
Yeah,
way?
my daughter does that. She's a true millennial or a Gen Z or whatever. They do that. It's like,
That's
what is that
problematic.
about?
That's
Everything sounds like
problematic.
a question. Yeah. I'm like,
Everything sounds like a question. And so I
mm,
cover that as well. How to speak with authority so
yeah.
that you are believed. Because whether
Mhm.
you're talking to the news media and you're on TV on a newscast, or you're in a sales meeting, or you're in a pitch meeting, you want to be believed and you want to come across as credible. And when you do
Yes.
things like speak too low, or you do that thing where you go up at the end of every sentence,
Mhm.
both of
Mhm.
those things are problematic. And so, what I love to do when I'm doing this in person coaching is record people and show it back to them.
I
And
love
with
that.
the online course, we still do that. At the end of it, you deliver a presentation, send it to me via Dropbox. I score it, give you feedback, and send it back.
That is so good. Now, one of the things I want you to do like you're doing a headline in the news. There's something about the way a news anchor, reporter, because in the talk show you didn't, you had to talk regular. But there's something about that news sound where they're sounding very, I can't explain it, but you do it like you're delivering a news bite, right? Like a news headline, and do something like if you're introducing me and say, okay, that we'll be right back, and I'll bring up that spot I showed you. So say something like, if you want to get more media, da 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 da,
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
then we could do
Do you
that.
want to get more media coverage? You're in the right place. Stay tuned. Dr. Pam Perry has more information on how you can get out there and get known.
See, that's what I'm saying. That sound, no one talks like that in real life, but we do pay attention because of the authority. So with that, right now, we're going to actually go to my cute little thing that I put together the other day of that quote unquote that where she's giving us the where she did the intro for us. So with that, we'll be right back. Hey, this is Pam Perry, really giving you a PR pep talk. How to get publicity. What can it do for you? Why do you need it? What's it do? How much it costs? I'm going to answer those questions in a sec. So what can quick media coverage do? It can help you increase your visibility online, extend your reach, stand out from the crowd, higher ranking on Google so you can get found. SEO is important. That's what PR can do for you, for sure. So when you're ready, go to pamperrypr.com. Love for you to get out there and get known. Get in all of the media that you see on the website, pamperrypr.com. Take a pic of the packages for the PR on pamperrypr.com. All righty, we'll see you there. All right, it worked. We had to pause for the cause, as they say back in the day, right?
That's
So
right. Pay the bills.
yes. So once people actually get the media and they're excited and their press release is hitting and the media is calling them and they're on radio and they're on television, and sometimes they can be on television in the studio versus Zoom. So explain to them the differences between going in the studio and then being in the Zoom box, I guess you would say, what they would have to do differently.
So many things, Pam. When you are remote and you are left to your own devices, you have to make sure you look great. When you go into the studio, they're going to help you. They're going to make sure you sit in the right place. They're going to put the microphone on you, depending
Mhm.
on the size of where you are. If you go to a big market station, New York, LA, Chicago, they probably have some makeup artists to help you out, make sure you look your best. Smaller cities, they're not going to have that. If you go on TV here in Raleigh, they have great studios, very professional people, but there are no makeup artists to help you look your best. When you're at home, you need to do all that yourself. You need to make sure you look your best. Because again, remember that stat I gave you from Dr. Albert Merabian's work. The first thing people pay attention to is your body. They're going to, just like we may have been told when we were young, don't judge a book by its cover, but that's exactly what we do. Because if
Yeah.
we don't know someone, that's all we have until we get to know them. And so,
Mhm.
first, you have to make sure you look great. If you don't, people will be distracted and they're not going to give their full attention to you. If you show up with dark circles under your eyes, they're going to think, well, did she get any sleep last night? Or what's
Mhm.
going on in her life? If you
Right.
show up and you've got dog hair all over you, you haven't taken the time to roll the lint brush, well, goodness gracious, does she have a mirror? And
Mhm.
so first you want to make sure you look as good as you possibly can. And that includes your hair, your makeup, your clothing, your lighting. All those things matter because that's what you're going to be judged on first. So I'd say that'd be the first big difference in being at home doing a video conference versus being in studio.
Do you think with the clothes that silence are best? I know we had that conversation before.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, that is one of the
Absolutely.
things
I
because the
almost always
pattern.
wear solids, yes, because the
Yeah.
patterns can be a distraction
Mhm.
and they
Mhm.
can
Yeah.
cause all kinds of issues. So solids
Yeah.
are definitely best. And bold colors. You look great in turquoise, Pam.
Thank you. This
It
is
looks
I said
beautiful.
we're gonna wear turquoise. That's why I wore it. That's part of your brand colors. I was like, I said she's gonna wear blue.
I decided to mix it up today because I am in blue all the time.
And I'm
But I
usually in
found,
pink.
yeah, I found this and I thought it's bold. I think I'll wear this today.
Yes. And so we flip because normally I'm always in either pink or red. So that is it. But yeah, people do have to understand that even though you got that new dress or that new top and it's got all this stuff on it, like I've just recently bought a top that is looks like newspaper. So like it's like
Mm,
a collage of newspapers. It would clash a lot and people will probably be staring at me like
yeah.
what is she, what's that headline it's going that so it's like
Yeah.
it's meant to be distracted because it's a newspaper collage, but I bought it because journalism is my background, so I was like,
Mhm.
"Ooh, I like this, it's newspaper." But don't wear that on a set
Right.
unless it's
That's
a joke,
fun for
unless
another occasion.
yeah, yeah, unless it's a joke or something like that. So you want to make sure. So the other thing I want to ask you really quick. So when someone's going through the course, they're scoring you. What if their score is not like, I guess it's pass or fail, but what if it's like, oh, you need some more help? Do you tell them to go back through the course or can they work with you more on an individual basis?
Absolutely. If you buy the course, you can go through it as many times as you want. You have unlimited access. It's not
Okay.
like you can go through it one time and that's it.
12
You can
weeks
go
or something
back
and you're done. Yeah. Yeah.
and get a refresher.
Okay.
Yes. And part of so there is the course, but there is also the VIP level of the course where you get 6 live Zoom calls with me.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Then that would be good because that way, if they send it to you and it's not the right, they pass or fail and say they need some things to work on, then they
Yeah,
can go and work with you one on one. And that is so true.
absolutely.
Some of it could be body language or habits that
Hmm.
people have to correct. I had to really, my filler word is actually. Filler word. And my husband noticed it. He says, you say that all the time. I said, what? He says, actually.
Mm.
I said, why is that? Because it's a long word. Actually.
Mm.
It gives me time to really think about what I'm going to say. So it's
Right.
versus I've broken myself from as much as I
Hmm.
can. I mean, we still occasionally, but actually was my filler word. And I was like, wow. So once someone brings it to your attention, you're then conscious to break it. And so when someone sends you back their video with the course, because obviously you can do it with the book, but
Hmm.
they say you can actually dissect it and give them instructions. I am so excited
I
about this
can.
course.
I
Yeah.
can. And mine used to be fantastic. That would be
Okay,
my
that's a long one
response.
too. That's a long word too. Fantastic. Yeah. So
Fantastic. If someone said something great, I'd say, "Oh, fantastic."
yeah.
And then I realize I say fantastic
Yes.
a lot.
And my word was like, actually, it's like the whole point of it is that yeah, that's you're speaking the truth. So you don't have to say actually like what you were saying before was not actual, and then what you're saying
Right.
now is actually like this. Yeah. So yeah. So we
It
have
takes
language
practice.
is important.
It takes
Language is important.
practice. And that's the key to, if you really are committed to this, you will have to put in the time.
Yeah, yeah. And the people who present the best, they obviously get access in the corporate world. Those are the ones that probably get promoted. They can be really,
Mhm.
really good at what they do. Maybe their accountant. I don't know. Just someone who doesn't have to speak in front of people, but eventually you're gonna have to speak at some meetings in front of people, in front of teams, and people who speak the best are usually the ones that get promoted, not maybe those that sit at their computer all day and do the work. And so presentation skills are really for everyone because you
You
need
are
to be
absolutely right, Pam.
yeah,
You are
yeah,
absolutely right. Good presentation
yes.
is the difference in a little bit of money and a lot of money.
That's it. That's it. And it's so, so important. People will say, "Well, I'll go to Toastmasters." And Toastmasters is good. We talked about this
It
too.
is good.
Toastmasters is a good thing, but they teach you to speak in their I guess you say their pattern or their their framework. Okay, so
Yes.
Toastmasters has their own framework, but you need to be able to know the difference of like, okay, why are you speaking? You're speaking for sales, you're speaking at a team meeting, you're speaking for media. So that's where, Valonda really helps you do that as well. So I want to make sure that people go to the website, that they can go to tvlady.online.
Yes.
Just basically TV Lady Online. And that's it. The other thing we talk about branding, that's just a great URL, right? That's like a great domain
Thank
name.
you. And Pam,
Yeah.
I'd love to tell people about that website. When you go to tvlady.online, I give you a peek of the course, and you
Ah,
get some free education
okay.
before you make a purchase. So go there, watch the free video, and then book a consultation with me. And I can tell you
Mhm,
even more about the course.
mhm.
And just for you, Pam, I'd love to offer your viewers 30% off. And they can use the
Whoa.
code
Yes.
30 off.
That is cool. Thank you. So
You're welcome.
you have to say that you heard them on Get Out There, Get Known podcast. So that's going to be in the show notes on the podcast. All right. You have to say that when you sign up to do that, that you heard about it through Get Out There, Get Known podcast. So it pays to
Yes.
listen.
And
All
the
right.
code
And
is
pay
30 off, 30OFF.
Okay, very good, very good. I love it. I love it. So, Valonda, what do you have coming up next? Any dance recitals you're doing? Any online Zumba classes? No,
Well,
I'm just
follow
kidding.
me and find out. I am mostly on Instagram,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm on Instagram at ValCalTV.
And TikTok too. You
No, I'm
TikTok?
not on TikTok, only
Really?
on Instagram, ValCalTV.
Okay, so ValCal
And
TV.
yeah, but I love to post about presentation as well as dance. I teach beginner jazz at North Carolina Dance Institute, and we
Mm-hmm.
have so much fun. Sometimes I'll record what we're working on in class, and that's what you were referencing
Yeah,
earlier with my
she was.
student Megan. We have
Oh
so much
my
fun. It's such a joy.
I know, and that was one of the things in the career that you thought you were going to do. Kind of before we leave, kind of explain a little bit about how you made that transition into journalism.
I
Who was
always
one?
wanted to be a television journalist. From the time I was about 5 or 6 years old, I'd sit down with my dad after dinner and we watched the news. And I
Mhm.
was so captivated and intrigued by these people in the box telling me what was going on in the world. And I knew from a very early age that I would do that. I also love dance. And I knew that I didn't want to give up dance simply because I was going to work as a journalist. And so I continued, even after I graduated from college, I continued dancing, continued taking dance classes. I was a professional cheerleader for the Washington Redskins. Even
That's
though
it.
we were called cheerleaders, we were
Right.
dancers.
Answers. Right.
So
'Cause
I
yeah.
danced on the sidelines on Sundays at football games. And then after that was over, moving back to North Carolina, I decided I'm going to keep this up. So I joined a dance studio as a student and then later became a teacher.
I love that. I love that. And that probably helps too with a lot of the teaching that you do. Well, one, you're a teacher, but two, body language, helping people to feel real comfortable in their skin, so to speak. Telling them how
Yes,
to
because
move and yeah.
yes,
How to
as dancers, we're taught how to stand tall, how to
mhm.
make sure you open the chest and lift the chin and stand up with
Definitely,
confidence.
definitely.
Yes, that matters not just for dancers, but for all of us. When you
Yeah.
see someone who stands tall or sits tall, since we do a lot of sitting now for these video conferences, that's different than someone who slumps and their
Yeah. Oh, I
shoulders
can
roll
see that
forward.
difference.
See the
Right.
difference? I get
Yeah.
told all the time, I'm 5'4". I'm not tall, but I get told all the time by people that they think I'm taller. And part
When
of
they
that
meet
is
you in
because
person. Yeah.
of how I hold my body. I mean, I
Mhm.
was told this just yesterday. Someone said to me, "You're really 5'4"? Yeah, I'm not that tall. I'm pretty average.
And
But it's because
that's combining all the gifts and everything that you have from the training. I love that. I love
yes, it makes a difference.
Oh my good, I love it. So this is the thing, people, I want everyone to go to TV Lady Online. You're gonna get media coverage, you're gonna be ready, and you're gonna get out there and get known. That's the whole point of this, right? This is why we do this podcast. And so when you get out there and
Yes.
get known, it's because you've had the proper training by the TV lady. Okay. All right. So thank you so much, Valonda. I
Thank
will
you,
talk with you
Pam.
later. This was
It's
really,
been a
really good.
it's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All righty. God bless.
You've been listening to the Get Out There and Get Known podcast, brought to you by PamPerryPR.com, where you'll get insider tips on how to build your platform, pitch the media, and promote yourself with confidence. Head over to PamPerryPR.com and get the exclusive video training on the 7 must-have marketing materials you need before you pitch in order to be considered in media places or superstar stages. PamPerryPR.com, where you help you shine like a superstar.